Hi, welcome to my talk about unlocking the collaboration between or with actually internal developer portals and marketplaces. So really about democratizing the API access. So my name is Daniel Kocot. I'm working for Codecentric in Germany. I'm there the head of API experience and operations, so doing a lot of stuff with APIs actually, what I call the customers doing crazy things with APIs. And I'm also an async API ambassador, so really focusing on bringing this initiative to another level, also in talks with our customers actually. So if you want to get in contact with me, just use the QR code so you get something. I think this is the QR code to the LinkedIn portal. So we talk about collaboration. So we want to share things, actually. We have a common goal. We want to really solve a shared problem, actually. And for this, we want to collaborate. It's really important to do so. And we go further in the API context. It's really about having multiple stakeholders into that and saying, okay, there are developers, data scientists, or the organization itself actually to have to work together to create and share and redefine data sources, functionalities around. So it's really about to get into collaboration and build something new and really promote open standards and all the things around. So it's really about bringing things forward, actually driving innovation. So when we talk about APIs, it's always something to really define and talking about saying, on the one side we have providers and on the other side we have consumers. So there is somebody, the consumer is asking for something and they receive something in addition to what they ask for. This is something that is not deniable. So it's really the context of having providers and consumers there. So we take a little deeper look at the consumer side, actually. So the consumers are really referring to having a software application, a service, or a program that really wants to utilize and interact with another entity's API, actually, and to really consume data functionality or consuming a service, actually. So and when we look at something, we are really interacting as an API consumer with an API to integrate it into our world, to integrate the features, capabilities, to make it our own, actually, to really think about and say, okay, this is what we need. We want to not to build it on ourselves, actually. We really want to keep it as it is. So, and when we look at the consumers, we have actually 4 characteristics. So a consumer has needs, wishes, and also triggers and thinks about ideas. And when we go further into looking into the needs, actually, it's about integrating data. Then there is a need for reliability. There's also a need for scalability, that we really are able to scale what we are producing there, actually. So when we provide a new service, we really want to scale, actually. And there is a need for documentation. So when, as a consumer, I want to access a service, I need documentation. And when we look at the wishes, they are quite not indifferent, they're really focusing even more. So when we look at the wishes, it's about user-friendly integration. It's about customizability. It's about real-time updates. So if something is happening, we want to have the real-time updates, actually. And on the other hand, there is a need for support and assistance because not everybody is really into the thing. So we really need support and assistance. When we look on the trigger side, it's really quite easy. So there is a user demand, there are positive reviews or something like that, that triggers somebody to use something that is available in the market, actually. And when we look at something like ideas some consumers might have, it's about innovation, it's about new user experiences, and on the other, and at last, it's about new business opportunities to really think about what could be the next step to move forward in the rewards, actually, of the API initiative we are working on. And when we have consumers, we really have to, classify is maybe the wrong word, but there will be three shapes. So we have people driven by technology, we have people driven by business, and we have people driven by innovation. So these three shapes are the people or the personas really involved into the things to collaborate on, the API initiative actually. And how they can really collaborate is that we have to talk about internal developer portals and marketplaces. I wouldn't go into the deep actually about internal developer portals, because there is a lot of discussion about that. There's a lot of movement there. So we have tools like Backstage talking about standardizing tools, golden paths, and all the things involved really. And in the end, it's about streamlining. And when we look at the consumer shapes, actually, we saw earlier, that might be in reference to this internal developer portal. We see that there is somebody driven by technology and someone driven by innovation. So really looking at people who are deep into tech, and we have people driven by innovation, talking with the people driven by technology, and really focusing on the technology side. Because when we look at an internal developer portal, it's really about technology. So even the focus is more internally. And in the end, the goal of an internal developer portal is to have developer success, nothing more. So which means we are working together with developers to really approve the things, to really move on and really bring success to their development. And when we look at the other side actually of the collaboration possibility, we look at a marketplace. So you see it on the picture. It's a really centralized place where buyers and sellers come in and say exchange on goods, services, and information maybe. And it's really about, it's a physical thing in the traditional way. In the digital age, it's more an online platform that connects vendors with consumers and all the things around. So it's really focusing on selling things. When we look at more into an API marketplace, it's really about that API providers are able to publish things on this digital platform, promote them, and sell actually access to them, because this is where something like monetization kicks in. And the developers and businesses can discover and purchase and integrate these APIs into their application or systems. So it's really about having a look at something somebody is promoting. So the focus on the consumer shapes is really about talking more business things and also driving innovations. Because when I go at a marketplace, I really see things that might drive my own development to another level, actually, to innovate it actually. So business, so the focus persona on this is the business side, and the focus environment is more external. So we're really not talking to the same domain. We're really accessing within an organization more the external part, which could mean external in place of having departments or domains. It could also mean that we bring it to the outside world really and say, okay, this is a service somebody from outside of the organization can really have a value from, and really bringing the things on. So the goal in the end, as we saw earlier with the integrated developer portals, actually, it's about business success. So it's really focusing that the business will succeed over time and have success with the things they are driving actually. And interesting fact is, what does this really mean for the API access? This is what we are actually talking about. So we just had a look at the internal developer portals. We had a look at marketplaces. What does it really mean for API access? In the end, or even in short, it must be simple. But when we look at the things, it looks different. So APIs are still a complex thing to handle. Implementation side is quite hard. So it's really heavy to move on and say, okay, I want to implement this API. And in the end, it doesn't only help if we would use an internal developer platform or a marketplace. So there are a lot of things really to do to get out in the field and bring APIs on the implementation side. And in the real end, there is only one persona to understand the API, the offered API in all details, actually. And this is the persona mostly driven by technology. So when we look at APIs, it's always somebody with a technical background who's able to read what is possible to achieve with an API in the end. It's not that a business can say, oh yeah, we use this API, it brings us really value. No, it's even more. So we really have to look at it and say, okay, from the technical side, it's working and does the things as expected and so on and so on. And in the end, we have to achieve some goals to really bring this technical people to the level that they can really succeed on such things like a marketplace or the developer portal, in addition to the access. So the easiest first access is definitely with security in mind. Then we have to champion the people driven by technology. We don't have to focus on the business side, actually. So that these are not the drivers. The drivers are still the technical people. We have to provide a smooth data transfer. And we will drive into the types of monetization that are possible at that level. So, and when we look at easy first access with security in mind, it's really to think about to establish an overall concept from the beginning. So if you start an initiative, you must have security in mind and not say, yeah, this is something that comes later on. And yeah, we already have something like an API gateway, so it's easy. We just put pieces together or something like that. Maybe not the best approach. So second thing is every stage you're working on is production. So you saying not that, we are on the dev stage, so security related, it's basic auth or something like that. It doesn't really make sense. It has to be something that really puts the trigger into then also in the production side. You have to create tutorials and trainings how to access things. That's mostly important because not every developer in the world or every technical person is able to really follow the steps and say, okay, I can access an API. So it's really on tutorials and trainings. And what you also need is really, when you use sandbox technologies, when you have a portal or something like that, it's really that it's covered by security. So you should also implement there the standards of security you already had in mind, and you want to establish over the overall access concept or something like that. So it's really on that to move on to get an easy first access with security in mind. And when we look at the champion people driven by technology, it's really ask for their specific needs. Don't think in the business side or just talk to the business side. Really ask them what is needed to really use an API you put on the marketplace or on the internal developer portal. And you should involve these champions as early as possible. And in the end, everybody loves storytelling, so we have to build a story around them. And we really have to support their drive of innovation as much as possible, because they are drivers to really drive innovation in their fields, in their departments within an organization that bring value to them and also value to the API they're using, actually. Then we really have to think about smooth data transfer. It's a quite hard one because we have to start and think in data products. These are for value creation. These data products are actually algorithm driven. It's about the integrated output actually they bring. And a data product is developed iteratively. So it's really something that starts at a level and really evolves over time because the people bring up the requirements they need to really have a data product available. If we have a data product available, we need a data contract to really combine data products and know what is really happening. So we have a defined schema. It's more about data governance. We have in the end an interface agreement, which could be also part of the data product. And we have some kind of version management available directly on the data level. So it's really more lower down the things actually and say, okay, we built an API, but this API is covered by a data contract and a data product, and they are version controlled, which helps a lot to see what is happening in backward and forward compatibility. So it's really something you should think about, because this leads actually to an API product. So the exposure of capabilities, we really provide functions or deliver data. We have standardized interfaces or a standardized interface. So it's really having something that is relying on a protocol and allows an easy integration or something like that. And then we have, by having this product, a really standardized authentication, authorization way to go actually. So when the organization is going on the OAuth way, it's really on us to really have this product running on OAuth. And with API products, actually, we can think about monetization and analytics. So really see who is using the API, what is the value it brings, and so on and so on. And in the end, we can think about monetization. And this actually, when we have a data product, a data contract between data products, and then have API products relying on data products and data contracts, we really can provide a smooth data transfer. So we align the data products with the API products. We use or build up a data product specification, use data contracts to stabilize the transfer actually, and every data product should be available with every API style the organization is providing as possible, because of having a thing called output ports in the data products. We are really able to bring it up and say, okay, this data product should be available as a REST interface, should be available as a topic, and so on and so on. So every API style possible is covered by the specification of the data product in that place. So we can really provide a smooth data transfer. And with that, having a smooth data transfer, we can think about a direction of external monetization. So maybe think about barter to have a really exchange of things actually. So if you are providing something, you can use something else instead. Out of this, you can create a simple billing model actually. And having a simple billing model, you can present the additional value the API product brings by using it actually. With all of this, we come to the conclusion actually that only the technology-driven shapes we saw of consumers are of interest actually. So only this technology-driven shape, we focus on them. We have to build a whole story around them. And the best thing to really recover is, and to think about, for getting access to APIs, it's not enough to use a portal or a marketplace. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoy seeing ourselves live in Paris next week. See you. Bye.